Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Good morning to all of you to this Sunday episode of the Butt Fumble Sports Show. We were doing our research here after watching CBS Sunday Morning, and we thought, why don't we just go live? Why don't we just do our research live in front of everybody? So unlike our past few shows over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to just do my research live in front of you guys. Just want to hang out, talk some sports. If you guys do have questions, we'll get to some of them, but this won't be our typical Q&A kind of show. I'm just going to do my research because I haven't put in my bets yet. It's really early in the morning, and we're just going to do our research live in front of you. So settle in, everyone. Hope you're having a great weekend, no matter where you are, no matter the platform you're joining us on, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Butt Fumble Sports is live, answering questions, but really just diving into what should be a great sports afternoon with NHL, NBA, and obviously the MLB. The draft is over. We can obviously rant and riff about what happened in the draft, but we're going to do our research for the most part on today's action. I'm going to go through all the MLB games. Again, for those joining us, I'm not going to answer as many questions as I do during our normal show. I'm literally going to do my research pick by pick, game by game, and that way you can hear how I'm going about my research. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, you're going to see the research up on your screen. I will post all of my picks both on the screen and obviously on my Instagram story as well. You can always find my picks on the SHARPZ app. Make sure you DM me on Instagram if you want my picks every single day. I give them away for free. They're never behind a paywall because I think you guys work hard for your money, and I don't always get my picks right. So I'm not going to take your money. I'm going to give out my picks for free, so you can find them on the SHARPZ app. You can find them on my Instagram account, or you can watch the show and see them right here. But how we're going to go about our show today is I'm going to do my research game by game. So we're not going to do as much Q&A. If you guys do want Q&A, you might want to swipe to another broadcast because I'm literally going to go game by game. I'm going to start in MLB, work my way through the MLB schedule, then I'll go to the NBA, then I'll go to the NHL. We'll mix in some player prop bets just based on kind of the game we're talking about. But that's how I'm going to do my research for the next hour and 20 minutes. That's how I'm going to go about it. So if you guys are up for it, hope you settle in. Welcome to Butt Fumble Sports. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let's dive into it. We're going to use two research tools throughout the day. One is the Outlier app. Outlier. It's a sports betting research tool that allows us to dive into trends, matchups, and just look at a lot of data. It is a subscription-based tool. If you guys want a free 7-day trial, DM me on Instagram. Otherwise, you can see it on my screen. I use it every day. A free website you guys can use if you guys want to do research on your own is killersports.com. I came across this last year. Really great website to use if you want to dive into some trends, data. That's one of the tools I'm going to use today as well. Let's get started, everybody. We're going to start with the Cleveland Guardians and Atlanta Braves game. That's going to be the first one that we're going to talk about. First thing that I always like to look at is how the money's coming down on the game. Right now, the public is very much heavily behind the Braves, both on the money line and on the spread. The under's getting a bit of action when it comes to the money compared to the over. But let's dive into some trends. This is what we're going to do most of the day. I'm just going to focus on the trends that I care about. First things first, the Guardians have been a very good team so far this year in a number of different categories. First of which, in day games, Guardians are 10-2 in day games so far this year, 10-2 on the run line as well. If we look at how they've done after a win, they're 7-2 straight up, 8-1 after a win, then playing on a day game. So very interesting there. Guardians have been a very, very strong play. You'll also note the under is a very strong play here. The under has gone 6-3 when the Guardians have played on a day game after getting a win. They beat the Braves last night. How about when they play on a day game so far this season as an away underdog? Braves are obviously the favorite. So far this year, the Guardians are 4-0 on a day game as an away underdog. So not only are they 4-0, the under is 3-1. Diego, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, I know you're giving me the what's up, brother. That said, Guardians on the money line, you guys might want to take a risk on it. Under, might want to take a risk on it. However, if we flip it over, you're going to certainly find that the Braves are a very good team in their own right. So these trends are going to rival each other very strongly. Again, for those just joining us, I am literally just going to do my research. If you guys want to ask questions all about it, we're not going to answer as many specific questions right away. Really just doing our research and getting a sense of what's going on. I haven't placed my bets yet, so this is the research that I'm doing live in front of you. So far this season, when the Braves have played on a day game or have had a day game, they're 6-3 straight up, 5-4 on the run line. How about when they're at home? I won't even check as a favorite. They've only played 2 day games at home so far this year. They've gone 1-1. The game they won, Chris Sale was on the mound. The game they lost, Jose Quintana was on the mound for the Mets. Just an interesting note that the better starter won in both matchups. Bryce Elder is on the mound today for the Braves. Ben Lively is on the mound for the Guardians. Who's the better pitcher in that one? Kind of an interesting. Let's dive into that pitching matchup. I won't go this deep into every game, but I don't really have a sense of where to come down on this game. So I'm going to look at the starters. How have the starters performed? I'm going to first look at Bryce Elder. How has he performed in day games, let's say since the start of last year? Since we don't have enough data for just 2024, let's look at how he's done over the course of 2023 and 2024. Bryce Elder has pitched in 13 day games over the last year plus, and he has a losing record. The Braves have a losing record, I should say, in those 13 starts. The Braves have gone 6-7. The Braves have actually lost 4 straight starts when Bryce Elder has pitched on a day game. They've lost 5 of their last 6. So Bryce Elder, not exactly a great starter during day games, at least for the Braves. How about when they're coming off a loss? When Bryce Elder is pitching, it's only happened twice. The under hit both times. Of note, we talked just a moment ago that the under might be a better play. So kind of an interesting one here. I'm kind of on the fence. If you want to follow the money, we often talk about that. The money is going with the Braves. Really, I think because they're coming off a loss. I think a lot of people don't believe that they're going to have back-to-back losses. That said, the Guardians have been the team that have covered consistently. They've done really well in day games. We talked about that. Martin V, you may want to come back in a little bit. We've literally just started on the MLB. We're going to do MLB, the entire MLB slate. Then we're going to go to the NBA. So if you want to do NBA, you might want to circle back in a little bit because we're just going to focus. I'm literally doing the research for myself right now. I haven't prepped before the show. So we're just going to do our research live on the air, and then we'll circle back around to questions. So if you want to do questions, you might want to come back in I would say 45 minutes. We'll certainly be talking some NBA around them. So anyways, for all those that are joining us for the moment to talk some MLB, we're talking Guardians and Braves. If I had to go in one direction on this, I'd probably take Braves on the money line. I'd be curious about taking the Guardians to cover at a +1.5. But really, I'm not going to bet this game myself. Not enough conviction behind it. So again, if you guys are looking really quick, when the Braves are coming off a loss, so far this season, the Braves have gone 6-0 straight up. So I understand that coming off a loss, Braves feel like a very strong money line play. You may want to go in that direction. I'm certainly not going to fight you on it, but there's some tension in me because the Guardians have been actually so good on the road as an underdog, especially during day games. Let's jump to the next game that we're going to focus on. Athletics, Orioles. Actually, before we do that, really quick, are there any player prop bets that I care about for this Guardians and Braves game? First things first, I just want to see what Steven Kwan's getting. In terms of a hit or over half a single, I feel like his matchup against Bryce Elder is very favorable. So it's 1.5 hits, not really a great play for me, but over half a single, that's an interesting one for me. I can get that right now on DraftKings at -200, so it really would be a fold in as a parlay play. But over half a single, he's hit this in 3 of his last 4 games. How about against right-handed pitching? 3 straight games against right-handed pitching on the road. He's hit this in 7 of his last 10 road games against a right-handed pitcher, against Bryce Elder. He has 4 at-bats. He has 3 hits. There's a reason I like this one. I would take this Stephen Kwan over half a single. That's going to be the first pick that I actually put up on the board that I have enough conviction behind to put up here. Again, Braves on the money line is probably the better play. Braves money line is probably the right way to go. I just don't have strong enough conviction to put it up there just yet. But Stephen Kwan over half a single might be a parlay play for some of you, given that it's coming in a lot of places at minus 200. Let's move on. That's the only player prop bet that I'm actually really interested in for the moment when it comes to that game. Let's jump to the next game we're going to talk about. Again, we're going to go game by game in MLB. We just started with Guardians and Braves. If I had to give out a pick for that one, I'd probably say Braves on the money line, and then I'd probably take Guardians plus 1.5. Think it's going to be a close game. Maybe it's a 2-run difference, so if you could get Guardians plus 2.5, maybe same game parlay it. But that said, that was our opening picks for that one. A's and Orioles, very interesting matchup today. Orioles, heavy favorite when it comes to the money. 95% of the money coming down on the Orioles. 90% of the money coming down on the Orioles to cover the spread. So certainly something that we want to keep note of. By the way, Top Dog, shout out to you. John, shout out to you. Chase, shout out to you. Hope you're all doing well. Wherever you're watching from, no matter the platform, great to have you with us. Let's dive into this matchup a little bit. We're going to look at how the Athletics have done on the road so far this year. We'll start just by looking at how they've performed in day games. The A's have played 13 day games. They've gone 7-6, 8-5 on the run line. Under's been slightly better at 7-5-1. They've had their stretches where they've played well in certain day games against certain opponents. But the Orioles, they lost to the Orioles in a day game yesterday. Let's see how they look today. Again, when they're a road underdog, they've been a road underdog for 7 of these games, 7 day games. They actually have a winning record in day games as a road underdog, going 4-5. They're 5-2 against the spread as well, 5-2 on the run line. Under's got a bit more love. Keep your eye on that a little bit. Let's switch it over. Let's look at how the Orioles have done in day games. So far this year, the Orioles are 10-4 in day games, including 5 straight wins in their last day games, and they're also gone 6 of their last 7. They've won 6 of their last 7 played on day games. However, when it comes to the run line, they're actually 8-6 on the run line so far this year. So while they have their wins, some of their wins have been only by 1 run. Let's keep their eye on that. When they're a home favorite in day games, they've gone 6-2 straight up, 5-3 on the run line, over getting a bit more love. I'm going to switch it over, and I want to look at the starters right now. I'm going to look at how Paul Blackburn has done in day games. Again, I'm highly focused on the circumstances of the day, how have they performed maybe in a certain month, how they performed against a certain opponent, how they perform in a certain time of day. Paul Blackburn has actually won his last 4 day starts dating back to last year. 3 of those wins have actually come this year against the Guardians, Tigers, and Cardinals. On the run line, the Oakland Athletics have gone 7-2 on the run line when Paul Blackburn has pitched in a day game, when he's an away underdog like he is today. The A's have gone 2-1 under a slightly better play, but kind of interesting there. The only loss that they suffered was to Sandy Alcantara. That was back in June of 2023. So Paul Blackburn's actually been pretty good. How about when the A's are coming off a loss? Over the last year plus, when the A's are coming off a loss and Paul Blackburn's on the mound, they've gone 9-7, 11-5 on the run line, 9-6-1 favoring the under. They've won their last 3 starts when Paul Blackburn pitches after a loss. How about when that after a loss has been a day game? They've won their last 3, so very interesting. I know the Orioles are going to be a heavy favorite here, but keep your eye on the Oakland Athletics. There's reason to believe they're actually in a good position here when it comes to the starter. Let's take a look on the other side of things. Albert Suarez, any data behind him? The starter for the Baltimore Orioles has pitched twice this year, does have 2 wins. The under hit in both of those, so keep your eye on that. Orioles won both of those games, did cover. Both of those games finished 4-2 finals. So kind of interesting there. So anyways, Orioles certainly getting the action on the money line. But the A's, there's probably reason to kind of consider them. If I were to take the A's at +2, you're getting it at -183. Obviously, if it's a 2-run difference, it becomes a push. I'm actually going to take that one. Just throw it on the board. I'll take the Orioles on the money line. I do like the Orioles in this matchup. Really quick, Orioles in day games. They've won their last 3, 4 of their last 5. Orioles have been a very strong team overall, so I don't want to overreact to the A's matchup, but I'll say this. A's have done enough for me to consider them. So I'll throw the Orioles on the money line, and I would take the A's at +2, +2.5. Obviously, that would be a same-game parlay or a parlay of a certain kind. Appreciate you guys being with us. First few picks that we put up on the board, I'm not betting Guardians and Braves. If you guys really pushed me to it, I'd probably take Braves on the money line, and I'd probably take the Guardians at a +1. Very similar to the A's, a +2. I think those are two games that are going to be pretty close. I think the Orioles win, but I like the A's to cover in that game. A's are going to keep that pretty competitive. Again, we've been talking about it over the last few weeks. The A's have a really good bullpen. So when the A's get through the first 5, 6 innings, in a close game, they can certainly keep it a 2-1 run difference, whether in their favor or when they're trailing. So keep your eye on it. Appreciate you guys being with us. Chase, yo boss, what do you use to look at your stats? 2 sources of research. One is Outlier. Outlier is a sports betting research app that allows us to search and go through a lot of data. That said, it does require a subscription. If you want a free 7-day trial, DM me on Instagram. ButtFumbleSports is the name of my company and the name of my handle on Instagram. DM me. I'll give you a free link for a free 7-day trial so you can try Outlier. The website that I'm using, that if you're watching me on YouTube right now, that you can see on your screen, that's killersports.com. KILLER sports.com. And that's free. You can use that. I use it all the time. It's a great place to dive into some trends. I will let you know that it's something where you can start to believe anything you want because you can really find a trend for anything. But if you're looking for certain variables, if there are certain pillars or certain kind of lenses that you look through consistently and you find value in them, killersports.com can be a great website. So we're using it today. Let's go to the next game on our schedule. That's Dodgers and Blue Jays. So Dodgers and Blue Jays is going to be the next one that we look at. Interestingly enough, the money line bets are going in 2 different directions. Let me explain. 62% of the public likes the trend. 62% of the public likes the money line Blue Jays. 62% of the money of the. I'm screwing up on this. 62% of the public likes the Blue Jays to win. 77% of the money is on the Dodgers to win. So the public's going in one direction. However, the money is going in the other direction. When we see that discrepancy, I tend to follow the money because the money knows something the public does not. So with that said, always be mindful of that. I always like to be able to kind of follow the money only for that reason. However, sometimes the public wins. I'm not going to say that the house always wins, but really that is a test of who do I trust more, the public or the house. I tend to trust the house a little bit more, and that 77% of the money is a reflection on people who know how to play the house. The 62% of the public, what do they know? Honestly, what do they know? So let's dive into some of the trends on this game, though. Dodgers coming off an impressive win. So Dodgers, we're going to start just like we did with the other games. How have the Dodgers performed in day games so far this year? Actually not too well. They've gone 6-6 straight up, 5-7 on the run line. The under's gone 7-5. So the Dodgers, not the juggernaut that we've obviously expected through the first month. They have gone 3-0 in their last 3 day games. Those came against the Mets, Nationals, and Blue Jays. Really quick, in day games when they're on the road, they've gone 3-3, so they're having a similar challenge. It isn't necessarily a reflection purely of day games alone. Let's see how the Dodgers have done after a win when they're on the road. 6-3, and they've won their last 5 straight coming off a win when they're on the road. So that's definitely a reason to kind of be a bit more confident in the Dodgers putting certain things together. However, they are 5-4 on the run line. So again, strong on the straight up. They've won their last 5, but again, on the run line, still reason to be a bit cautious. Let's flip it over. Let's look at the Blue Jays. Now, I'm just going to look for a moment at how the Blue Jays have gone as a home underdog so far this season. They've lost their last 2, the only 2 games they've been a home underdog, they've lost both of them. Keep your eye on that. However, are they a true underdog today? Right now, Dodgers are on the money line as -110. Blue Jays on the money line, -104 where we see it. So, almost even. Let's take a look at how the Dodgers have done when they are coming off a loss and they're at home. The circumstances of today's game, they're actually 2-3, both straight up and on the run line. So again, the Dodgers, not strong on either side. Now, really quick, I just want to look at Kevin Gausman. I want to look at the starting pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. When the Blue Jays are coming off a loss, how has Kevin Gausman performed over the last year plus? So since the start of 2023, the Blue Jays have gone 10-10 in his starts, 8-12 on the run line. In fact, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games coming off a loss when Gausman then starts. So not nearly as strong as we expected. In fact, the average margin of, scoring margin has been in favor of opponents, 4.75 runs over those 20 games compared to 4.05 for the Blue Jays. I might be acting a little quanty on this, but I actually love seeing that kind of trend on it. I like the Dodgers on the money line. I love that the money is favoring it. I actually like that the public is not, thinking it's a bounce-back game. Now, the starting pitcher for the Dodgers is Michael Grove. How do we feel about Michael Grove? Let's take a look at Michael Grove. So since the start of 2023, Grove has had 12 starts. He's gone 6-6, lost his last 3. How about when the Dodgers are coming off a win? Wow! Just before I was going to really like the Dodgers, reason to feel awful about it. Michael Grove is, the Dodgers, I should say, are 1-4 when Michael Grove starts after a win. Awful. However, 2 of those came at home. This is a road game, so at least his 1 win came on the road. Ugh, I hate backing that. That's a terrible trend. The over, hitting all 3. It's kind of reason to actually like the over a little bit. They're at home. Kevin Gausman. The Blue Jays have gone 4-5 straight up, 3-6 on the over. The over is getting some love all of a sudden. The over-under set at 8.5. Okay, that's the bet we like for this game. I don't know if I like the side. I like the Dodgers. I think I like the Dodgers, but I'll almost put like a question mark next to it. Dodgers money line. I'm going to put question marks next to it, almost to imply you may not want to follow me on that. That's the one where I'm taking the Dodgers, but that Michael Grove trend really spooked me. I'm not going to lie. But the one I really like is I like Dodgers, Blue Jays to go over 8.5. And if we like it to go over 8.5, let's just take a quick look at any player prop bets that we really like for that game. Let's take a look at Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani has been raking north of the border. Clearly, he's sending the message that you could have had me. Life could have been amazing for all of you Blue Jay fans. I'm interested at over 1.5 bases. Over 1.5 bases kind of intrigues me. Now, against Kevin Gausman, in his career, Ohtani has a .222 batting average and 9 at-bats, 1 home run, 1 RBI. High strikeout rate, actually. Now, in his last 10 games, he's gone over 1.5 bases 7 times. Against right-handed pitching, he's gone over 1.5 bases in 5 straight games. 7 of his last 10. How about on the road? 7 of his last 10. 6 of his last 7. I kind of like Shohei Ohtani over the 1.5 bases. Do I like him on over half a run? He's cashed on over half a run in 6 of his last 8 games when he's faced right-handed pitching 4 straight games. Head-to-head against the Blue Jays, I mean, he hit it, you know, that's not a great indication. I think I'm caught. I like over half a run. I like over 1.5 bases as well. I'd probably take the over half a run. That feels like a better bet. At minus 119, it's just there are a lot of ways he can get on base. But if you wanted to take the over 1.5 bases, I certainly wouldn't have a problem with it. So, kind of curious about it. I'm going to add that. I also want to look at how Mookie Betts has done against Kevin Gausman. They've had some matchups in their career. I can get Mookie Betts over half a hit. How has he done against Gausman? 176 average. 176 average in 17 at-bats. So no bueno. Max Muncy has great numbers, though. Max Muncy has 3 home runs in 12 ABs against Kevin Gausman. Let's take a look at Max Muncy really quick. We're looking at player prop bets related to this game because we think the over is going to hit. So maybe some reason to dive into it. Max Muncy, I can get him over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Ooh, oh, I like that. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs on the road. It's actually been much better on the road than it has been at home. How about against right-handed pitching? 3 straight games on the road against right-handed pitching. Head-to-head against the Blue Jays. Last 3 games against the Blue Jays, this is it. Max Muncy, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. You can put it on the board. Yes, sir. We like Max Muncy over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. That is the player prop bet that we're going with. Next one up on the board. Again, I'll put all of my picks on the SHARPZ app. If you guys want to follow all my picks, DM me on Instagram. I put my picks on the SHARPZ app, on Instagram, or obviously you can see them on the show. I post all of my picks because picks should never be behind a paywall. They should always be for free because you guys work hard for your money. Sports betting should be fun. So I do my research so you guys know what I care about. But other than that, I want to make sure that you guys are getting your money's worth by putting your money towards bets and not towards my picks. So with that said, make sure you hit the follow button. That way you never miss a show when we go live. Normally, we're usually going and answering your questions during the week, but this is a special show because I came on early in the morning and I haven't done my research yet. I'm actually doing my research live right in front of you. This is what I would have been doing, watching SportsCenter or watching some TV show, but instead I was like, I might as well just come on live. You guys are going to, ask about my picks anyways. I might as well just come on live, let you guys see what I care about, see the picks I'm making, obviously let you guys follow along, and if you guys do have questions, I can answer them, but we're going to really focus kind of going game by game, because at this point, I feel like that's an efficient use of our time. Really quick, I'm just going to recap the picks we have made so far. If I had to bet the Dodgers and the Braves and Guardians game, I'd probably go Braves money line and Guardians to cover, but I didn't put it on the big board. The picks I have on the big board so far are Orioles on the money line, A's +2, A's +2.5. I like the Dodgers on the money line, but I'm kind of questioning it. I do like Dodgers and Blue Jays over 8.5. I'll actually put the Braves with those question marks next to it too. I know that's not necessarily what you want to see on a pick board, but that's me saying I'm on the fence. I like the Braves, I like the Dodgers, but I'm on the fence. Chase, we did talk about that actually. We did talk about that. If you've been following the research, you know we hit on it. That's why I'm leaning towards the Braves. I'm leaning Braves, I'm leaning Dodgers, but if you told me one of those teams lost, I'd be like, oh, I'm not shocked. Not surprised. How do you feel about the Seahawks draft? Mixing in a quick question about the NFL draft results. I thought the Seahawks actually did really well because they addressed their defensive line. Absolutely love what the Seahawks are building. The Seahawks have a blueprint for how to win a Super Bowl. It is with the legion of boom that they had years ago. It is in building a great defense. They're building with a new head coach who's defensively minded. They're going to be fast, physical. They already have great players in their secondary, so absolutely love it. With that said, I do think that frankly, there's a reason to believe that maybe quarterback is a need of the future, but I'm okay with them skipping on that this year, given the expensive cost of going up and trying to get a quarterback. I'm a little disappointed they actually didn't get Spencer Rattler. I think Rattler would have been a nice little slide-in pick for them. I thought that was a nice pick by the Saints. So that's my reaction to the Seahawks draft. A quick reaction to the Cowboys draft before we get back to our picks. I actually thought the Cowboys did okay. I know Cowboys fans and certainly people on social media and on sports media are going to take a dump on the Cowboys. I thought the Cowboys did okay because the Cowboys are in salary cap hell. I know a lot of people want to believe that the salary cap isn't real or doesn't matter, but that's just simply not true. There is a salary cap in the sport, and the Cowboys are up against the fire because are they going to pay Dak? Are they going to pay CeeDee Lamb? Are they going to pay Micah Parsons? Are they going to pay all of these star players that, frankly, fans want to stick around in Dallas? So I thought the Cowboys did a good job of just acquiring more draft capital, addressing their offensive line a little bit, addressing their linebacker position a little bit, and I thought that was a decent way of actually them trying to prepare for the future, which is to pay the expensive players and then hope you hit on a couple of these lottery pick draft picks. I feel like that's their only hope to kind of survive the next few years. The biggest issue that the Cowboys actually have, to close the point, is that the Eagles are destroying the draft year in, year out. The Eagles are winning year in, year out on so many draft picks that it's so hard for the rest of the NFC East, frankly, to catch up roster-wise. Okay, that's a little bit. IPShade45, appreciate the love. That was a little bit of draft review since I wanted to mix it up a little bit. But we're going to get back to our picks. So let's get back to doing our research. We're going game by game. We have already gone through 1, 2, 3 games so far. We've got a lot more games to go. Royals and Tigers is the next one we're going to focus on. This one's got a good pitching matchup. If you're a fan of the Tigers, Tariq Skubal is on the mound. I'm probably going to mess that name up. But that said, Royals, they've been a very good team when they're under the scenario they have today. So let's take a look at it. When the Royals are in a day game so far this year, they've gone 7-6 straight up, 8-5 on the run line. Under's gone 8-3-2. So keep your eye on the under a little bit. However, coming off a loss, when the Royals are coming off a loss on a day game, Royals are 2-2 straight up, 2-2 on the run line, 2-2 over under when they're coming off a loss and then they play on a day game. How about when they're coming off a loss and they're a road underdog? So far this year, Royals have been a road underdog after a loss 2 times. They've gone 2-0. They won both of those games. That was against the Orioles. That was against the Mets. Interestingly enough, they had the same starting pitcher both of those games. It was Alec Marsh. Interesting note there. How about just after a loss when they're on the road? It's happened 3 times. Royals have won all 3. So Royals have been a pretty good team coming off a loss when they've been on the road. Overall, coming off a loss, whether at home or on the road, Royals have gone 7-3 straight up, 7-3 on the run line. Under has gone 6-4. So keep your eye on the Royals today. Royals aren't the pushover that you may think. How about their starting pitcher, Michael Wacha? Over the last year or since the start of 2023, how has Michael Wacha done when he's pitching the next day following his team's loss? His team has gone 12-2. Now, those starts last year were for the Padres, but he has made a start this year for the Royals coming off a loss. But here's the important note for this game. The Royals are coming off a loss yesterday. Michael Wacha absolutely has been fantastic under this scenario. Keep your eye on the Royals today. I'm warning you guys. Everyone's going to jump on the Tigers. Tigers could still win. They've got the better starting pitcher, but there's plenty of reason to believe that the Royals are actually a very good bounce-back team. How about over the last... I just want to check on this really quick. I want to look at how the Royals have done against the Tigers over the last year when they've lost the previous game. Whether to the Tigers or to another team, how have the Royals performed? Royals have gone 3-5 straight up, 3-5 on the run line, lost 3 straight. When they face Skubal, they've won 1, they've lost 1. Interesting. Just wanted to see it. Okay, anyways, let's get to the other side of this. Let's look at things from the Tiger perspective. When the Tigers are coming off a win, Tigers are 7-7 straight up, 7-7 on the run line so far this year when they're coming off a win. They got off to a very hot start in the early part of March and April, bouncing back off a win, with following up with another win against the White Sox and the Mets. But frankly, they've struggled over the last few weeks, so not a great situation. How about when the following day is a day game? Tigers are 3-5 straight up, 3-5 on the run line. The Tigers have lost their last 5 games, their last 5-day games that are following a loss. Interesting. I know some of you guys are like, what does that matter on today's matchup? It's the trend. It's the data. It's how they've performed under the circumstances that they have today. Skubal lost one of these scenarios against the Rangers a week and a half ago. That was against the Rangers' Dane Dunning. I just want to see how Tariq Skubal has done against the Royals in his career. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the Royals to cover. I know the money's coming down on the Tigers because of the starting pitcher, but I'm kind of interested in the Royals. They are a very good bounce-back team. So since the start of last year, Skubal's only faced them twice. He split, went 1-1. How about if I date it back since 2022? He's actually gone 2-3 against the Royals since the start of 2022. He's gone 1-1 at home. Or any of those games following a win. All of them are coming off a win. So right now, I'm kind of interested in taking the Royals to cover. Look, the money's coming down on the Tigers. Again, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not saying you guys should do it. I'll put it up on my big board so you guys can see it. I may not bet it, but Royals plus 1.5 kind of has my attention right now. I'll put the question marks next to it because I'm still on the fence. But the Royals plus 1.5, maybe plus 2.5 if I could get it at a good spot. I don't think I probably can. Royals plus 2 is minus 245, so not attractive there. Look, I know this is a story of 2 different pitchers in terms of Skubal right now is an AL Cy Young, early Cy Young candidate. He's gone 3-0, 1.82 ERA. Michael Wacha 1-2, 3.81 ERA. But under the circumstances that they're playing today's game, I'm just kind of interested in the Royals to cover. I'm just saying it now. You guys could tell me I'm crazy. You could follow me. You can fade me. That's entirely up to you. I think the Tigers probably win. but I'm splitting the difference. So I put it up on the board so you could see it for a moment, but then I rip it off because I'm kind of on the fence on it. Just letting you guys know. Let's get back to doing our research. We go to the next game that we're going to focus on. Cardinals, Mets. Right now, the Mets are actually getting the money. 67% of the money is coming down on the Mets to win. However, the Cardinals are getting the love on the spread. Let's take a look at how the Cardinals are doing after a win. Cardinals won yesterday. Cardinals are 5-7 straight up after a win, 7-5 on the run line. Have they won 2 in a row? Yes, they have. When they've won 2 in a row so far this season, the Cardinals are only 1-3. 1-3 after winning back-to-back games. So kind of interesting there. Let's flip it around. Let's take a look at the Mets. How have the Mets done after losing back-to-back games? Mets are 2-4 straight up after losing back-to-back games. They're 1-5 on the run line after losing back-to-back games. The under is 4-2. So, by the way, just the Mets. Mets being the Mets. Cardinals haven't won day game. I don't think that's my team. Let's take a look at it. Let's see how the Cardinals have done during day games so far this year. They actually have won a couple day games. They've gone 4-8 in day games so far this season, 6-6 on the run line. How about on the road, though? How have they done on day games on the road? That's where they've struggled. They've gone 1-4 on straight up when they've played a day game on the road. The only win that they have is yesterday's game against the Mets. So kind of interesting there. Now, I want to go to Jose Quintana. Jose Quintana is the starting pitcher for the Mets today. I want to see how Jose Quintana has done in the role of stopper. So let's see, since the start of 2023, how has he done when his team has lost the previous day? His team has gone 2-6. How about when they've lost back-to-back games? When the Mets have lost back-to-back games and then Jose Quintana starts, they've gone 1-3. 1-3 since the start of last year. So I certainly can't say Quintana is a shutdown stopper. Not the case. In fact, the Mets got shut out in 2 of the 4 starts that he made. Yikes. So maybe it's just a lack of run support. Now those 2, I got to note though, 3 of those starts the 3 losses came against good pitchers. Kyle Bradish of the Orioles, Spencer Strider of the Braves, Zach Wheeler of the Phillies. Lance Lynn ain't exactly that. So let's take a look at Lance Lynn. Let's put him under the microscope for a second. Let's see how Lance Lynn has done when his team is coming off a win. 9-9 straight up. Let's see after back-to-back wins. 6-1. Okay. The Cardinals have gone 6-1 when Lance Lynn starts and they've won the previous 2 games. The only loss came to Spencer Strider when they played the Braves. By the way, it is a little jaded. So we did since the start of 2023. So that includes 2 starts with Lance Lynn in Chicago for the White Sox. He won both of those. It includes 5 starts he made for the Dodgers. He won all of those. I kind of like the Cardinals to cover right now. Cardinals to cover. Give me that action. I'm going to take Cardinals plus 1.5. That's how the money's coming down, and I think that's the right play. I'll take Cardinals plus 1.5. Cardinals plus 1.5. You can put it on the board. I'm about it so far. Doghouse breaks. We talked about those games a bit earlier. We haven't talked Yankees yet. We talked Braves. I like the Braves to win, but I'd be curious about the Guardians to cover. I'd keep my eye on that. I'd take Guardians plus 2. So I'm kind of splitting the difference. Braves on the money line, Guardians plus 2, Orioles on the money line, A's on the money line. I will take the Dodgers on the money line. Personally, I like the Tigers. I'm just putting up the picks I think are going to happen. I think Royals are going to cover plus 2. You may want to even take them plus the 1.5. So that's how I'm doing it. We will get to basketball bets. We're just making our way through the MLB so far. So the picks we've made are Stephen Kwan over half a single, Max Muncy over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Braves on the money line, Guardians plus 2, Orioles on the money line, A's plus 2, Dodgers on the money line, Dodgers Blue Jays over 8.5, Tigers on the money line, Royals plus 2 or Royals plus 1.5, and the Cardinals plus 1.5. Kev? Okay, then follow your own. Here's the thing. I have no issue with you disagreeing. That's totally cool. Then follow the trends that you believe in. This is what I'm saying. If you don't want to follow the data, if you don't want to follow the picks that I make or the trends I follow, it's totally cool. It's a difference of opinion. It's how you splice and dice data to favor whatever opinion or whatever outcome that you're actually going for. Here's my point. Kev, you can go in a different direction. So I'm more than happy to say we disagree. No issue. Let me repeat the picks for those that are asking. I have Braves on the money line, Guardians +2, Orioles on the money line, A's +2, Dodgers on the money line, Dodgers Blue Jays over 8.5, Tigers on the money line, Royals +2 or +1.5, Cardinals +1.5, and 2-player prop bets I have so far are Stephen Kwan over half a single and Max Muncy over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Let's get back to doing our research, everybody. Next game we're going to focus on Nationals, Marlins. Right now the money is coming down on the Nationals to win. However, the money is also coming down on the Marlins to cover. So a bit of a split decision here. I will warn you guys, unless there are really favorable trends on this, probably not going to touch this game because these two teams I always feel are a very tough prediction. Marlins, though, have been a terrible team during day games so far this season. Marlins are 4-10 straight up in day games so far this year. They are 4-10 on the run line so far this year. The over has gone 10-4 when they play in day games as well. So the Marlins, a terrible day game team. Now let's take a look at the matchup specifically today and seeing them at home. They're 1-7 in day games at home. 1-7. Now that's against the Pirates, the Angels, the Braves, the Giants, and the Nationals. So it's not just against really top-loaded opponents. Smith, are you posting the picks on Instagram? Yes, we will. We will also post them all on the SHARPZ app. So make sure you DM me on Instagram, ButtFumble Sports, to get every pick that I make. By the way, Royals plus the 1.5. Jacob, I like it. That said, Marlins in day games at home are god-awful. Let's take a look at the Nationals on the road. Nationals on the road in day games. 4-4 straight up, 6-2 against the spread, 6-2 on the run line. I like the Nationals more and more. Who won yesterday's game? Was it the Nationals? Oh. I'll see in a moment. Nationals won yesterday. Oof. Nationals are 1-3 straight up. But 3-1 on the run line. I'm going to stick with the run line on this. I know the Nationals could probably win, but the next pick I'm going to put on the board, I'm going to take the Nationals plus the 1.5. The money's not going in my direction, but I like the Nationals to cover the plus 1.5. I actually do like that play. Really quick, though, just want to look at Patrick Corbin against the Marlins. How has he done against the Marlins since the start of last year? Only one start, he lost it. Since the start of 2022, yikes. Patrick Corbin does not actually have a good history against them. Man, Patrick Corbin, since the start of 2021, the Nationals have gone 1-5 against the Marlins when Patrick Corbin starts. They are 3-3 on the run line. I certainly like the Nationals +2. So I'll go Nationals plus 1.5, Nationals +2. So there's our next bet. In case you guys were curious, Nationals, we have the Nationals plus 1.5. Nationals plus 1.5, +2 if you're putting it into some parlays. Appreciate you guys being with us. Let's get to the next bet. We'll recap them after we go through this next game. Next game is going to be Rays and White Sox. White Sox won. Can you believe it? The White Sox won. You know what that means? Boy, are we betting against them today. White Sox, after a win so far this year, are 1-3 straight up. 1-3 straight up, 2-2 on the run line. Now, their one win did come at home. They are at home today. Keep your eye on it. They've actually won back-to-back games. They won back-to-back games? Yeah, they've won back-to-back games. They haven't won back-to-back games all year long. Let's date this back. I'm just curious. Since the start of last year, how many times have they won after winning back-to-back games? They've gone 6-13. Oh my God, what a trend. Okay, since June 8th, of last year, the White Sox have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've played 10 games after winning back-to-back games. So after winning the previous 2, they've played 10 games since June 8th of last year. They've won only one of those games. Only one of them. You know who they beat? The Yankees, and it was Garrett Cole. Isn't that awesome? Like, don't you freaking love stats? They've played 10 games after back-to-back wins over the last, 10 months. They've lost 9 of them. They've only won 1 of them, and it was against Garrett Cole, the guy who went on to win the Cy Young. Like, if you don't love it. However, that game was started by Dylan Cease, a guy who no longer pitches for them. So kind of interesting there. I'm going to put this one up on the board. I'll be quick about it. I'm taking Rays on the money line. I feel strongly about it. I'm taking my daily vitamin of betting against the White Sox, and I'm okay being wrong a third of the time this year, because the other 2/3 of the time, I'm going to be cashing tickets. So Rays, let's take a look at how the Rays have done after a loss so far this year. Rays are 9-5 straight up after a loss. How about back-to-back losses? Hasn't happened too many times this year. Rays, after back-to-back losses, 4 games after back-to-back losses this year, they're 3-1. Put it on the board. Rays on the money line. Certainly love that one. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you are, hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button, no matter the platform you're watching on. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. We're live on all of them right now. We're live almost every single day. We put our schedule up on TikTok. We let you guys know when we go live. So make sure you hit the follow button. That way you're always with us. I never charge for my picks. I never put them behind a paywall. I never think you guys should be paying for picks. You guys work hard for your money. Sports betting should be fun. It should be entertaining. So I give away my picks for free. Make sure you follow. Hit me up on Instagram. DM me on Instagram if you want to get every bet I make every day for free. Again, they're never behind a paywall. Thanks to the SHARPZ app, I can show my picks for free every day. I also put them on Instagram. So DM me if you ever want my picks. Here are the picks we've made so far for today before we move on to the next game. We have Braves on the money line, Guardians +2, Orioles on the money line, A's +2, Dodgers on the money line, Dodgers and Blue Jays over 8.5, Tigers on the money line, Royals +2 or Royals +1.5, Cardinals +1.5, Nationals +1.5 or +2, and Rays on the money line. Those are the picks we've given out for game picks. As for player prop bets, we have Stephen Kwan over half a single, and Max Muncy over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Those are the picks we have up on the board so far. Let's keep going with the research because we've got a lot of work to do. We've got other sports to get to, so let's quicken up the pace. We're going Yankees. We're going Brewers. Right now, the money is coming down very heavily on the Yankees. Let's take a look at the Yankees and day games so far this year. Yankees have played 11 day games. They've gone 7-4. How have they done on the road away from Yankee Stadium during day games? Really well. 5-1 straight up on the road in day games. That's against the Astros, Diamondbacks, Guardians, Blue Jays. So they face the Brewers today. Marcus Stroman on the mound. Let's take a quick look at Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman in day games. I'm going to look since the start of last year. He's gone 7-6 straight up. He has won 3 of his last 4 starts, including going 1-1 so far this year for the Yankees in day starts. He's been a much better day pitcher over the last, let's say, since June, mid-June. So I certainly like that. How about coming off a win? Marcus Stroman, when his team is coming off a win, he's gone 8-8. And when they're an away favorite, 3-1. So I'm going to be quick about this one. I like the Yankees on the money line. Really quick, though, I'll look at the Brewers. How are they doing coming off a loss? How have they done in day games first? Brewers in day games, since the start of this year, 10-2 straight up. Whoa. Let's throw on those brakes, Butt Fumble Sports, before you just run past it. Brewers very strong in day games. How about at home? Brewers 3-1 in day home games so far this year. Interesting. How about when they've been an underdog so far this year at home? So a home dog. Brewers only 1-1. Wow. I just wanted to jump on the Yankees, but I can't do that. You know what? I'm not going in that direction. I actually might take the Brewers to cover. Brewers +2. I also want to look at Willy Adames. I like the Brewers +2, and I like Willy Adames. Let's take a look at the Brewers +2 really quick. -211, I like it. It's got to be a parlay, but Brewers +2, I'll put it into some parlays. You might want to take the Yankees on the money line, but Brewers +2 is looking nice. Okay, really quick. Let's look at Willy Adames. He's got great numbers against Marcus Stroman. So let's jump on over to our player prop bet section, and let's look at Willy Adames. I can get him over half a hit, I believe. It's 1.5 hits, over half a hit, -190. He's got great numbers against Stroman in his career. 471 and 17 at bats. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Against right-handed pitching, 7 of his last 10 games he has a hit. At home, 8 of his last 10. You can put it on the board. Yes, sir. Willy Adames over half a hit. Let's get on that train. Willy Adames over half a hit. That's all we're asking for. Just over half a hit, Willy Adames. That's what we're doing. Appreciate you guys being with us. We're going to quickly move on. Someone was asking about Tobias Myers is a rookie. That's why we're not focused on it, Leroy. We're not focused on that one. Let's keep moving along. We're going to the next baseball game. We're going through MLB first. Then we're going to do our NBA picks. So you're not missing anything if you've come for NBA. As for the Reds-Rangers, next game that we're focusing on. Right now, the public likes the Rangers. The money is creeping up towards the Reds. 46% of the money is on the Reds, despite 84% of the tickets being on the Rangers. So keep your eye on that one. Let's dive into this one. How have the Reds done in day games on the road so far this season? They have played 5. They've won 4. They've gone 4-1 in road day games this year, including yesterday's game against the Rangers they got that 8-4 win. How about in day games after a win? Reds have played 6 games in a day game after a win. They've gone 3-3. How about a win overall? When they're playing after a win, they've gone 6-8. So they have a losing record after a win so far this year. How about on the road? 3-2. The over's gone 4-1. So just quickly doing our research. How about on the Rangers side of things? Rangers in day games so far this year. Rangers are 3-7 in day games. Wow. 3-7 and straight up. 4-6 on the run line. How about when they are coming off a loss? Rangers are 2-1, so interesting to note there. In day games, so far this season, they're 3-7. However, when that day game is following a loss, they've won 2 of their 3 games under that scenario. So keep your eye on the Rangers on the money line for just that reason. That actually is a great sign there that's where that trend tends to break. Let's jump on over and let's take a look at Dane Dunning. I'm curious about how Dane Dunning has done so far this year when the Rangers are coming off a loss. Dane Dunning, the Rangers have won the last 4 starts made by Dane Dunning coming off a loss. They had a stretch prior to that where they had struggled, but he's actually been a very good stopper over the last few starts. All 3, 3 starts. He's made 3 starts this year. Following a loss, he's won all 3 of them, or at least the Rangers have won all 3 of them. How about Andrew Abbott? We're going to focus on Andrew Abbott now. of the Cincinnati Reds. How has he performed when his team is coming off a win? 8-3 straight up, 8-3 on the run line. How has he done on the road so far this year? He's gone 10-4. This is since last year. Interesting. Just this year, he's gone 2-1 on the road. How about as a underdog, 2-2? How about following following a win, I should say. 1-1. This isn't a game I would bet. Reds-Rangers feels like a toss-up. I can understand why the Reds are slightly favored to cover on this one. I would probably take the... I wouldn't touch this game. That's what I'll say. I wouldn't touch this game. Doesn't feel like a good one. So I'll avoid Reds-Rangers. I don't want to give you a bad indication. Let's look at Pirates and Giants. Money coming down on the Giants to win. Money coming down on the Pirates to cover. Let's take a look at these two teams really quick. Pirates in day games so far this year. They've lost their last 4 straight games played during the day. They've actually lost 6 of their last 7 day games. Wow, not a very good stretch for them. They got to a very hot start at the end of March, beginning of April during day games, but that is no longer the case. They have really struggled in day games since like April 9th. They've really struggled. Just 1 day game win. That, funny enough, came against the Phillies. They played Zach Wheeler and got that win. That was April 14th, though, so it's been a minute. How about when they are an away dog under those day game scenarios? They're actually 3-2. So day games at home have actually been tougher. Wow! Oh my God! So that's amazing. That's amazing how trends can like totally flip on you. I got to make sure I'm seeing this right. So the Pirates in day games are 8-7, and they've lost their last 4. However, those were home games. On the road, they have played 8 road games during the day. They have won 6 of them. They've gone 7-1 on the run line. The over's gone 7-1. Wow, love seeing that. Okay, let's look at the Giants. Didn't expect the trend to break that way. Let's take a look at the Giants. Giants in day games so far this year, 6-5 straight up, 4-7 on the run line. Let's see when they play a day game at home, 4-2 straight up, 2-4 on the run line. They've lost their last 2. That was to the Diamondbacks and the Mets. That was day games at home. Let's take a look at how they've done following a win so far this season. Wow. Or they lost. Pirates won last night. Forgive me. So, here you go. The Giants, so far this season, coming off a loss, are 10-4 straight up. They have won their last 2, 4, 6, 7 games coming off a loss. At home this year, coming off a loss, they're 6-1. The under has gone 6-1. I know how I'm betting this game. I'm taking the Giants on the money line. I'm taking the Pirates to cover the spread. Pirates plus 1.5. Pirates plus 2 if you're trying to go with a parlay. That's the next bet we're putting up on the board. Let's continue to do our research. The next game we're going to focus on, Astros and Rockies. We have 5 games left, everybody. Then we're going NBA. So 5 games left, then we're going NBA. Astros, Rockies. This is a neutral site game. This is being played in Mexico City, I believe. So that is why the over-under is set at 16. That's why it's ridiculously high. Astros, very heavy favorites in this one. Let's take a look at the Astros so far this year when they are I just want to say a favorite. They have been a favorite 23 times this year. They're only 6-7 team. Now, they did win yesterday, so let's see how the Astros have done coming off a win. Astros coming off a win, 2-5 straight up, 2-5 on the run line. How about when they're a favorite coming off a win? They're 1-4, so just terrible. Astros are not a team that's very reliable right now. Let's take a look at the Rockies. Rockies coming off a loss so far this season are 7-12 straight up, 11-8 on the run line. How about when they're coming off a loss and they're an underdog the next day? They're 7-12 straight up, 11-8 on the run line. How about, let's say they're an away dog. I know this is a neutral site. They're 2-8 straight up as an away dog coming off a loss. If you count today's game as on the road, it's certainly reason to go with the Astros. I'm going to take the Astros. I am. I don't love it, but I'm going to take it. Really quick, Framber Valdez is on the bump. I just want to see how Framber Valdez has done in day games. Hasn't pitched in a day game so far this year, so I've got to date it back to last year. Is this not counting as a day game? Framber Valdez, forgive me, I got to reset that. Framber Valdez so far just in 2024. I'm just looking for some data. Just give me Framber Valdez. Why isn't Framber Valdez coming up? Wow, okay. Oh, it's because I'm being foolish, guys. I'm putting it under team. Let's look at starter. So 2 starts this year. He's lost both of them. Not a great look. Let's look at Austin Gomber. Austin Gomber. This is since last year. I want this year. Austin Gomber this year has lost his last 3 starts. Let's say as a dog. Yeah, okay, it was a dog in all of them. Okay, I'm going to take the Astros on the money line. Astros on the money line. Feels right. Feels right. Not crazy about it, but feels right. Let's keep moving. We're working hard. Next one, Twins, Angels. Right now, 60% of the tickets are on the Twins to win, but 66% of the money is on the Angels to win. Let's take a look at the Angels in day games. Angels are 2-9 in day games. Wow. 2-9 in day games. They've lost their last 7 day games this year. Wow. Let's take a look at Reed Detmers. Is Reed Detmers one of the better pitchers on their staff? Is he reason to believe in them? Reed Detmers, 4-1 this year. How has he done in day games? He does have a win. How about since the start of last year in day games? He's 4-3. It's okay. We go back to this year. I just want to see after a win. Man, he hasn't pitched after a win this year. Yikes. He's 4-1 after a loss. Reed Detmers has absolutely been a stopper for them. Let's look at Pablo Lopez really quick, starter for the Twins. Pablo Lopez, so far he has made 5 starts this year, 2-5 straight up, 1-4 on the run line. That's how I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the run line on this one. I like the Angels on the run line. Angels plus 1.5. I take Angels plus 1.5. I take them plus 2 and put it into a parlay. So that's the next pick we're giving out. Angels plus 1.5. Angels plus 2 on the run line. Let's move on to the next game, everybody. Diamondbacks, Mariners. This one, really confusing when you look at it, simply because starting pitchers for this one, Logan Gilbert for the Mariners, Brandon Pfaadt for the Diamondbacks. Really good matchup, but you would think it would favor Logan Gilbert. However, the money's coming down on the Diamondbacks. 53% of the money is on the Diamondbacks. Kind of interested by that right now. So let's take a look at how the Mariners have done. I want to say the day of the week. I want to see how they've done on Sundays. I can do that here on killersports.com. On Sundays, the Mariners are 1-4 on Sundays. That was one of the reasons I was looking at this earlier. They've been a really bad team on Sundays for some reason. Really bad. They won last week in a doubleheader against the Rockies, but other than that, they are 0-4 other than that one game. How about the Diamondbacks? How have the Diamondbacks been on Sundays so far this year? They're 3-1. I know that sounds like a crazy thing to kind of focus on, but you actually may be interested in Diamondbacks to cover just based on that little note. Let's look at Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert, Let's see how he's performed so far this year. 4-1 straight up, 4-1 on the run line. The under has gone 4-1 as well. By the way, Diamondbacks, the under is 3-0-1 on Sundays. How about the Mariners on Sundays? In case you were curious, the under's 3-2. So actually, the under is looking kind of interesting in this one. Just saying. But let's look at Brandon Pfaadt now. Let's look at how he's done so far this year. So the opposing pitcher, Diamondback starter, 1-4 straight up, 2-3 on the run line. Under's gone 3-2. I think that's where I'm going to take it. Now the total for this game is set at 7. I don't love that. It opened at 7.5. I kind of like it closer to the 7.5, 8. So that's where I'm going to take that. I'm going to take Diamondbacks and Mariners. I'm going to take the under 8. Under 8.5 if I can get it. I also would take Diamondbacks to cover the plus 1.5. I take Diamondbacks plus 1.5. I think they cover. Mariners on Sundays has been an issue. I think there's something about it. Let's get to the next game. We're going to rock through. We've got 2 more games to get to. Phillies, Padres. Money coming down on the Padres on this one. Padres right now. Michael King on the mound for the Padres. Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Phillies. This is a very tight one. I'm not really crazy about this game. Phillies. Again, I'm just kind of curious on days of the week. Phillies on Sundays, 2-2. How about the Padres on Sundays? 3-1. Not that that means too much. Padres, after a win. Or they're coming off a loss, sorry. Padres coming off a loss. 9-6 straight up, 7-8 against on the run line. How about when they've been at home? 5-6, 3-8 on the run line. Not good at all. How about the Phillies? When the Phillies are coming off a win and they're on the road, Phillies 4-3 on straight up, 4-3 on the run line. Under has gone 5-1. That's interesting. Let's take a look at Michael King. Michael King, so far this year, 3-2 straight up, 4-1 on the run line. Over's gone 3-2. How about Taijuan Walker? Taijuan Walker, so far this season. Is this his first start of the year? Interesting. Taijuan Walker making his first start of the season. If I had to go in any direction on this game, I'd probably take the Phillies to cover. Phillies plus 1.5. I'm not going to bet this game. So just letting you know, Phillies, Padres, not betting it. I'm going to avoid it. Last one, Cubs, Red Sox. Red Sox getting the money. Money's coming down on the Red Sox, and that's because their starting pitcher, Tanner Houck, on the mound. That is the best starter for the Red Sox. Let's take a quick look at Tanner Houck. Take a look at his stats. Tanner Houck. So far this year, he's 3-2, but he's pitched very well. Opponents have an average run total of 2.6 in games he has started so far this year. His 2 losses were to the Angels and the Guardians. Both of those. He's played 2 games at home this year. The under is hit both times. Just a note there. Now let's actually look at the Red Sox. How have the Red Sox performed after a win? Red Sox got a big win yesterday. How have they been after a win so far this year? 7-7 straight up, 6-8 on the run line actually, better than I would have expected. How about at home after a win? 1-3 straight up, 0-4 on the run line. So the Red Sox have really struggled at home following a win. That's where they've struggled. Wow. Okay, let's flip it around. How have the Cubs done after a loss when they've been on the road? Cubs, 4-2 straight up, 4-2 on the run line. The under's 4-2. This is what we're going to do for this one. I am going to take the under. I'm going to take Cubs, Red Sox. I'm going to take under 9, under 9.5 for those that are doing a same game parlay or a parlay and want to get a little extra space. Personally, I'm taking the Cubs to cover. I just don't have enough faith in this Red Sox team. I'll take the Cubs plus the 1.5. Money's coming down on the Red Sox. I totally get it. But right now, the Red Sox are just a bad bounce-back team. And again, I'm not taking the Red Sox to lose. I'm taking the Cubs to cover. So Cubs plus 1.5. If you can get them plus 2, I would absolutely take that. Cubs plus 2 feels like a very strong play for this one. Obviously, not going to be a great spot. Plus 2 is coming in at minus 248. That's why I say it would be a parlay if you were to do it. Let me recap all the MLB game picks we've just given out because we're about to switch to the NBA. So here are the MLB picks we've given out so far. Here we go. We have Braves on the money line, Guardians plus 2, Orioles on the money line, A's plus 2, Dodgers on the money line, Dodgers Blue Jays over 8.5, Tigers on the money line, Royals plus 2, or plus 1.5 if you're willing to go for it, Cardinals plus 1.5, Nationals plus 1.5, Rays on the money line, Brewers plus 2, Giants on the money line, but the Pirates plus 1.5 or plus 2, Astros on the money line, Angels plus 1.5, Diamondbacks Mariners under 8 or under 8.5, Diamondbacks plus 1.5, Cubs Red Sox under 9 or under 9.5, and the Cubs plus 1.5 or plus 2. If you missed any of our picks, they're up on my screen right now if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. Butt Fumble Sports on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. You can see all of my picks on the screen right now. We have 3 player prop bets as well. We have Stephen Kwan over half a single. Stephen Kwan over half a single. We have Max Muncy over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Max Muncy over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And we have Willy Adames over half a hit. Willy Adames over half a hit. We give out all of our picks for free. I haven't bet them yet. Once I bet them, they will show up on the SHARPZ app. So you can find every pick I make every day on the SHARPZ app. You can also find them on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. I give out my picks for free every day. Just follow, DM me, Butt Fumble Sports. That way you never miss a pick and you never miss when we go live. I never ask for your money. I never want you guys to pay for my picks. They're always free. Every single day, every show, I do my research. You can follow them, you can fade them. That's up to you, but I do my research. You guys follow along, and you guys decide what you guys want to bet on and what you want to avoid. Totally up to you. That said, we've done our MLB. Time to move over to the NBA. We have 4 NBA games. One starts in about an hour. Knicks, 76ers. 76ers are getting 78% of the money. Really quick, let's look at the injury report for this game. Injury report. Joel Embiid is a game-time decision. Joel Embiid is a game-time decision, though I would expect him to most likely start. Robert Covington is out. Robert Covington is out. Other than that, Mitchell Robinson is a game-time decision. Mitchell Robinson, game-time decision. Let's take a look at this. We're going to look at some trends, see what we like around this game. Okay, we're looking at the Knicks coming off a loss, and they're a road dog. So they lost game 3. Coming off a loss, they've gone 6-6 straight up, 7-5 against the spread. The over's gone 7-5. How about when they're playing an opponent with an average winning percentage that's greater than 500, so a winning team like the 76ers are? Knicks are 6-5 straight up, 7-4 against the spread. Interesting. Only once this year did they lose but cover under the circumstances that they have. Kind of interesting. Let's take a look when they've actually, after a loss, they've had a line that was greater than 5. Total right now is 5.5. Oh, don't mean like, I mean line. Wow. 1-2, 2-1 against the spread. Let's flip it around. Actually, really quick, I'm just going to look at how they've done on Sundays. Kind of curious about that for a basketball team. Knicks are 4-3 straight up, 4-3 against the spread on Sundays. The over's gone 5-2. Just kind of an interesting note. Not that it means anything. 76ers, when they are coming off a win, wow. coming off a win. They went 32-16, but at home, as a favorite coming off a win, 19-6, and they won their last 6 games and covered 5 of their last 6 games coming off a win. How about when they faced an opponent who had a winning record? Oh, screwed that up. Let's get our equations right. So they went 8-4 straight up and won 4 straight games, 6 of their last 7 games when they faced a team with a winning record at home, and they were the favorite after a win. I know that's a lot to keep track of, but here's what I would say. 76ers on the money line, folks. I'm taking 76ers on the money line. 76ers on the money line. How about this total of 209? When the 76ers have had a total less than 210, they've gone 4-3 straight up. The under's gone 3-4. How about the Knicks? When the Knicks have had a total under 210, they've gone 8-3 straight up, 5-6 against the spread. The under's gone 7-4. Here's a great trend. Here's a trend you'll really like. So the Knicks have had a total of 210 or less 5 times when they've been on the road this year. They've gone 1-4 against the spread. They've gone 2-3 straight up. Their only 2 wins came in March against the Cavs and the Trailblazers, but against the Nuggets, Heat, and 76ers on 76ers, it was on Thursday. They've lost and failed to cover all of those. I like the 76ers to win and to even up this game. I'm taking the 76ers. I'm taking the 76ers. I'm just going to play around with one other thing. After a loss, after a win, after a win. It's kind of interesting. So the Knicks have played 8 games this year, where in the last 3 games they won the first 2 and then lost the last one. Same scenario they have today. When they were an underdog, though. When they were an underdog, they lost 2 of the... Let's go! And I'm taking the over. Okay, I'm taking 76ers on the money line, and I'm taking Knicks 76ers. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over. Knicks 76ers, I'm taking over. I'm going to take over 207.5. 207.5. I'm just going to set myself up for success there. But I like it. 76ers on the money line. Knicks 76ers over 207.5. So that's the first game that we have picked. Let's go Clippers. Let's go Mavericks. Money coming down on the Mavericks to win. 86% of the money is on the Mavericks to win. 60% of the money is on the Clippers to cover. Let's take a look at the injury report. We always like to look at the injury report first. Kawhi Leonard, game time decision. Luka Doncic, game time decision. Tim Hardaway Jr., game time decision. So certainly a lot of reasons to maybe be cautious about placing bets for this game just yet. You may want to wait until you have a better sense of the injury report. That said, let's do our research just to know. Clippers, following a loss. Clippers following a loss this year are 19-13. How about when they're on the road in that scenario? They're 8-5. How about when they're coming off back-to-back losses? So off back-to-back losses on the road, they're 3-3 straight up, 3-3 against the spread. They've actually won their last 3 games, but that came against the Bulls, Trailblazers, and 76ers. They were a favorite in all of those, but when they've been an underdog, they're 0-2. Interesting. So when the Clippers have lost their previous 2 games and then are a road underdog, they're actually 0-2. Again, just something we're looking at. I'm not saying it means everything, but we're looking, as I like to say, we're looking for a constellation, a series of variables that all point us in the same direction, that all tell us the same thing. So let's look at the Mavericks now. Mavericks are coming off a win. They're a home favorite. When they've been under that scenario, they've gone 10-6 straight up, but 8-8 against the spread. Not as good against the spread as they'd like. Oh, whoa. We've got a trend alert. Okay, since February 12th, the Mavericks have played 2, 4, 6, 8 games as a home favorite after a win. They've won all but one of them. They've gone 7 of 8 in those 8 games. They've won 7 of 8, and they've actually covered the spread in 6 of them. By the way, the under's been a very strong trend. The under's gone 12-4 when the Mavericks are a home favorite after a win. So keep your eye on the under. Keep your eye on the Mavericks to win today. I didn't like the trends for the Clippers nearly as much. Let's dive into it a little bit. Again, I'm kind of curious about this. How have the Mavericks been on Sundays this year? Mavericks, when they've played on a Sunday so far this season, just looking up for fun. You never know. You could stumble upon a good trend, something of note. Mavericks are 6-5 on Sundays this year. How about as a home favorite on Sundays? Come on, big money. We're waiting on the website to load. Oh, Damian Lillard is out. Dame Lillard is out for Game 4. Dame Lillard is out. Breaking news. We're going to talk about that Pacers game in a moment. Interesting. Mavericks as a home favorite on Sundays this year. They are 2-2, but they've failed to cover the spread 3 of 4 times. How about the Clippers? Clippers on Sundays as an away dog. Clippers have been an away underdog on a Sunday. How many times this year? Let's see. Getting loaded up right now. Killersports.com loading a little slow. Maybe some of you guys have jumped on and are doing research right along with us. Taking a look at this. Waiting. While we wait, I'll take a sip. Because I have been talking straight up for like an hour and a half. You know how we do here at Butt Fumble Sports. Clippers have been an away dog only twice this year on a Sunday. The under hit both times. Let's go. I am pumped about the trends I'm seeing. Guys, I'm taking Mavericks. Mavericks on the money line. Mavericks on the money line. I am taking Clippers. Mavericks. Taking that under. Taking that under. Mavericks. Clippers. I am going under. Look, the money's coming down on the over. Wow. 75% of the money is on the over. I don't love that. I don't love that. I don't like that I'm fighting against the money. I see why, too. Now, I got to bet the under. The trends are going under. I'm going under. I'm going under. I'll go under 210.5. I'll go under 210.5. So we are over on Knicks 76ers. We are under on Clippers Mavs. I like 76ers to win. I like the Mavericks to win. Let's move on to the next game, everybody. Next game that we're going to be looking at is that Pacers-Bucks game. We had breaking news just a moment ago. I'm sure a number of the sports books have taken this off the board. No Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is out. Damian Lillard is out. No Dame Lillard. No Giannis. So the injury report for this one, breaking news. Giannis out. Dame out. Chris Middleton's a game-time decision. Meanwhile, the Pacers are healthy. Is there any reason to not back the Pacers today? Let's just take a look. Pacers as a home favorite so far this year, 19-11. How about coming off a win? 10-10. So they have not been a very good team at home after a win, and they've actually gone 5-14-1 against the spread. So the Pacers, not a very good team against the spread, by the way. Not a very good team against the spread, coming off a win as a home favorite. How about back-to-back wins? Back-to-back wins. 3-4 straight up, 2-5 against the spread, and they failed to win and cover the spread in their last 3 games they've played. Just keep your eye on the Bucks to cover. I think the Bucks to cover might be a slightly better play than people are going to make it out to be. But let's take a look at the Bucks coming off a loss, coming off back-to-back losses, actually. Bucks are 10-3 straight up after back-to-back losses, 8-5 against the spread. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm taking Pacers on the money line, but I'll take the Bucks to cover. I'll take Bucks plus, let's say, 12.5. I'm taking Bucks plus 12.5. I'd really like it at more. I'd like it at like 12.5, 14.5. But I'm going to take those 2 spots right now. I'm about both of them. Bucks to cover. I just think that the money's moving a little bit too much. I understand no Dame Lillard, but I don't know. All the trends point me in the Bucks covering on that. So Pacers money line, Bucks plus 12.5, plus 14.5, maybe in a parlay, something like that. I'm sure that line's going to move over the next few hours, so wait to bet that game. Wait to bet that game. We have one more NBA game to look at. It's Timberwolves. It's Suns. We're looking at the injury report right now. Jalen Clark out for the year. Kyle Anderson, game time decision. Grayson Allen, game time decision. Timberwolves opened up as an underdog. They are now a favorite. Let's take a look at how the Timberwolves have done. Timberwolves. Let's take a look at how they've done on Sundays. I'm just curious. They're 6-5 on Sundays. How about as an away favorite on a Sunday? 2-1 straight up, 2-1 against the spread. How about Suns as a home dog? Home dog on a Sunday. They're 0-1. Okay, just an interesting note. Not that it means too much. Let's go back to Timberwolves. And after 3 straight wins, how have they done? After 3 straight wins, the Timberwolves have gone 10-9 straight up. Not great. How about on the road after 3 straight wins? 7-3 straight up, like that. How about it as away favorite? 5-0! We have ourselves a winning trend, everybody. The Timberwolves, after 3 straight wins, when they're an away favorite, they have won the 4th straight game 5 straight times, everybody. I like it. And the over, by the way, has gone 4-1 as well. Let's keep an eye on that total. But Timberwolves, bring out the brooms, everybody. We've got Timberwolves on the money line making that sweep. Really quick, let's just take a look at how the Suns have done after 3 straight losses. I'm sure it's a pretty good record. You would assume, right? 2-2 straight up, 2-2 against the spread. The over's 2-2. Okay. We like the Timberwolves on the money line. I do. But what do I really like? I like the over. Give me that over in this game. I'm going to take the over 209. Timberwolves and Suns over 209.5. 209.5. That is the bet we're putting up on the board. Guys, we just covered the NBA. 76ers on the money line. Knicks 76ers over 207.5. Mavericks on the money line. Clippers and Mavericks under 210.5. Pacers on the money line. Bucks plus 12 or Bucks plus 14.5. Timberwolves on the money line. Timberwolves and Suns over 209.5. Everybody, I got to go place these bets so you can see them on the SHARPZ app. DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. That's Butt Fumble Sports, the name of my company. DM me on Instagram. I'm going to give away every bet that we just made, every bet that I'm making, everything we've researched. DM me on Instagram. I'm going to put my picks in right now. I need to place my bets before everything tips off or first pitch happens. We will get every bet up there on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. Make sure you DM me on Instagram to see every bet I bet today. You can find them on the SHARPZ app. You can find them on Instagram. DM me on Instagram to make sure you don't miss them. Thank you guys for joining us for the last hour and 40 minutes of sports betting conversation. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will catch you guys again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, everyone. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern is our next game. Can't wait to be with you guys then. Until then, find my picks. DM me on Instagram for my bets. DM me on Instagram for my bets, okay? Catch you guys later. Goodbye, everybody.